Daenerys Stormborn, of House Targaryen, of the blood of old Valyria. I am the dragon's daughter, and I swear to you that those who would harm you will die screaming.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back for another Game of Thrones video. Today I want to make a short video discussing House of the Dragon, the Game of Thrones prequel show that HBO currently has in production. I have made some update videos about this before, but as far as I know, it's been roughly 6 months since any juicy details have been announced, which is why I want to talk about this today. This is something I recently discussed with some of you on social media. What I'm wondering is, should we be concerned, since we haven't received any additional information about the new show? Now, I did notice a lot of you were asking if the new show was already cancelled, so allow me to go over everything I know thus far, because it has been a while since we talked about any of the new shows that are in the works. Now, before Game of Thrones even ended, we were told HBO was working on creating 5 new shows that were set in the A Song of Ice and Fire universe. Obviously, with the success of Game of Thrones, in combination with the amazing story George R. R. Martin has created, HBO wanted to continue making shows in this realm. Now, out of those 5 shows, we were only told what 2 of them were about. The first one that was given the green light by HBO was a show that was set during the Long Night. George R. R. Martin was actually calling the show The Long Night, but he later retracted that statement. Right around the same time, there were reports that the show would be called Blood Moon. Now, regardless of the title, we knew it would be set during the Long Night, when House Stark was founded and the White Walkers were created. I know I was very excited when I found out they were making a show during that time because I always believed that the Starks and the White Walkers were related in some way, so I was hoping the new show would reveal that. It really did seem like this show would be the first one created after Game of Thrones ended. They hired several different writers who did finish a script for the first season. They hired some well-known actors to play a few of the different characters, and they even filmed the first episode. But this is where things started to fall apart. Shortly after this is when it was announced that the Long Night Successor show was cancelled. That first episode must have been really awful, because even Dan and Dave got a second chance when the executives at HBO did not like the first episode they handed in for Game of Thrones. Now, I know that many of you think it might have been cancelled because of how Game of Thrones ended, which might have something to do with it, but honestly, who knows what really happened behind closed doors? All I know is the Long Night Successor show is no longer in production. Thankfully, when this was announced, we did get some great news by the next day. Right after they revealed The Long Night was cancelled, they also revealed they are moving things along with another show, mostly based on George R. R. Martin's book, Fire and Blood, which did make a lot of sense at the time because it was just released as well. Not only did they announce they are working on the new show, they also announced the new show was getting a full series order, so it sounds like we would get a first season no matter what. Unless something catastrophic happened, of course. House of the Dragon is said to take place 300 years before the events of Game of Thrones. It goes back to a time when House Targaryen, the only family of dragon lords to survive the Doom of Valyria, took up residence on Dragonstone. And like I said, since George R. R. Martin recently released Fire and Blood, the writers should have some good source material to use. Not to mention, George is also currently working on another volume of Fire and Blood, so there will be even more material to draw from. I know I'm very interested in getting to see how the show turns out, but let me get back to my original question in the video. Since we haven't heard any news in over 6 months, should we be worried about the status of the new House of the Dragon show? One of the last updates revealed the first episode would be released sometime in 2022, which means they are most likely still in the early phases of writing the script. Now, we're obviously still under lockdown due to the virus, so I'm sure that has slowed down production quite a bit. I am hoping the writers and producers are taking this time to focus on writing an interesting and exciting story for their first season. I hope they're doing everything they can to avoid making the same mistakes Dan and Dave made in Game of Thrones, especially those later seasons. I would like to think HBO wants to avoid that kind of negative attention and criticism, so maybe this also has something to do with why we haven't heard anything in several months. Maybe they want to make sure everything is right before they announce anything else, but this is all speculation. Maybe everything is still right on schedule. They could even give us some good updates sometime soon. Or we could find out this show will have the same fate as the one set during the Long Night. Anyways, I said I wanted to keep the video short. I just wanted to talk about something that has been on my mind recently. I would love to hear what all of you have to say about this. Do you think House of the Dragon is still on its way, or do you think we should be concerned? Let me know down below. As always, I want to thank everyone for watching. Also, I want to let everyone know I will be doing a live stream on my Patreon tomorrow night. I would like to start live streaming for all my Patreon supporters at least once a week, so keep your eyes open for that. I will be making an update over there shortly. If I don't see you there, have a great day. I hope to see you here again for the next video. Bye.